Hey, it's matinee time, 419. Coming at you live on the Wolf Driver Facebook channel live. And this is Wolf Ditty here on a Wednesday, November 2nd, the big night, the final game of our World Series game, baseball. For anybody that didn't know, that was on this evening here in about, 50 minutes or so. Big night. Tied up 6-6. Seventh game. This is it. And I know there's fans everywhere. But this is Wolf Ditty here on behalf of the Wolf Driver, coming at you live on the Wolf Driver Network. Building a little bit of audience here. I see little things flying through here. Little thumbs up and thingies. And I thought maybe this evening we'd do a little something different. We did a Wolf Ditty last night on a breed called the Africanus. Manus the Africanus was our pooch of the evening last night. Very handsome dog, almost like a greyhound. Very fast, big dog from Africa. We talked about him. Got back into doing another breed. This evening, or this afternoon rather, we're jumping and jamming in here, just getting everybody together. Jarek is there. Hey, what all will hell a dog boo-boo? Hey, what all will hell a dog's boo-boo? Hi, Bucky, how are you tonight? Deborah? Good. Not sure what Jarek is saying to me there. I like the slang. Hey, what all will hell a dog's boo-boo? Okay, I can dig it. I start talking like Barack Obama in a minute there, North Carolina. Hey Kim, good to see you. Yeah, we're just gonna wrap and run here for a little bit before the big ball game tonight with the Cubbies and the Indians. But it's all good, boo-boo. Boo boo. I love that. I might play a song tonight the Wolf Driver wrote. It's not a video, it's a song. And Jackie, one of our gals, is singing it. It's called Wolf Driver Slang. I played part of it. It's a long one. It's like 8 minutes. And what this writing of prose lyrics are about, it's about how the Wolf Driver uses his words and his language to describe certain things about the dogs and so forth. Pretty intense stuff. And if you found that working on my dog's training, Cindy Mars, I can dig that, because I'm glad you brought that up, because it's exactly what I want to talk about and discuss with everybody this evening. It has to do directly with some kind of special training. And it's the kind of thing that, nice meditative guitar meditation tracks here for Wolf Dreams in the background, if you can hear it. Just keep a little ambience going while we're just shooting the breeze here with each other. Building our group here, if they all come into the auditorium this afternoon. Trying to get him to be people friendly. Yeah, I could dig that. Kind of what I was going to talk about is barking and excessive barking and protective barking, so to speak. And I'm referring to my dog Buster, who is he's half German Shepherd, half Cane Corso. This is Buster. That's right. Now what he does, he's 5 years old now. Okay, hi Charles. Got Buster, took him right to a trainer within a couple of weeks. Figuring, okay, I meant heel, sorry. Heel, I meant heel. I like that, it's close. Hey, what all will heal a dog's boo-boo? Oh. What will heal a dog's boo-boo? Okay, well, To answer that question, I guess be different things for different kind of boo-boos. Depends on what kind of boo-boo it is. I mean, is it a bite? Is it a scratch? Is it a cut? Is it an open sore? Is it an infection? Is it a lump? Is it a boo-boo kind of thing where they've cut themselves or injured themselves like we do when we cut ourselves? Here's what I have on hand. If that were to happen and it looked like something that was just like a cut or something like that and it was bleeding, I have some stuff called DMSO. DMSO. You get it at the, a supply place for horses and animal supply. You can look it up on the internet. Some drugstores in certain states have it. Kim says nice. Very nice. And the reason that it's not FDA approved is something the vet would recommend or a doctor would recommend, even when you use it on yourself for cuts, is because it's just not approved by them. And, the deep thing of research on a particular chemical substance, which is it's like water that smells like garlic a little bit. And what it does is it freezes at like a higher temperature, like 60-something degrees. So therefore, if you put it on your skin, if you were to cut yourself, animal or otherwise, I've been using it for years for like when I cut myself with a razor, if I do, instead of those styptic pencils, I put some DMSO in there. If I cut myself, I have a bad cut, and keep putting it on there. What it does, it closes the skin together faster because it freezes at a higher temperature. If that makes sense to you, and your body's 98 degrees and so forth, so instead of freezing at 32, it freezes at 68. It's going to pull your skin together and stop the bleeding, which seems to be the case, and it saved me a bunch of times. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not recommending it, but I went to a trade show once and saw it, and I was blown away what the properties are and how easy it is to use. They use it on animals too. Also, like when a horse injures himself, like falls, and has a joint problem where they sometimes have to put them down. Hi, Mimi. They rub the DMSO on there, it takes the pain away. If you bang your knee real bad or something on a wall, or accidentally bang yourself, your elbow, you put it on there, it kind of gets warm for a minute, and you taste some garlic, but it gets rid of that pain instantly and doesn't bruise. So some people are afraid to use it because they're afraid it's not FDA approved. My daughter wouldn't do it for years until she cut herself, and she's dead. I'm going to try some of that. And now she's a believer. Can't hurt you. It doesn't hurt me. I've been using it for like a long time. You're not using it all the time anyway. So that's what I would try if you have a cut. Then I use the Neosporin with the antibiotic, one with antibiotics, and the Neosporin, a little white creamy stuff. So I get the DMSO on there, hold it on there with a piece of cotton, get it dry, put the Neosporin on there, see what happens. That's my best answer on that. We're talking about how to stop the dog from, for example, barking at strangers. And there's these different theories. Now, this is without going to a professional trainer and doing basically the same things that they're going to do. You can do them yourself. I think the problem that most people have, or the issues they have, is having the patience to drill, practice, rehearse training and behavioral issues and how to correct them and change them without getting so frustrated and think it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight, and it probably will repeat even after you have seen results, so you have to keep doing it. You may have to do it forever, I don't know. Buster, my boy, okay, he's very instinctively a protector. He's shepherd and cane corso. He's like a police dog. And when somebody comes around the property here, he can smell. Their smellers are huge. I mean, he can smell something happening down the street and start going ape shit, barking like he needs to go out the front door, onto the yard, look over the fence he can see through, and then when he goes back in there in the side yard, or go to the gate out front and stick his nose up and bark at whoever's walking by, or just walk by. They're already down the street time I let him out. Now, I've been reading up on this stuff, okay, and it's pretty much the protocol or the order of how you want to start working on the behavioral issue to stop from doing that with a command or whatever. You have to work on it, and you have to understand it first. And this is a very annoying thing that a lot of people encounter, including myself, and I have not, frankly, shame on me, worked on it nearly as much, which means every day, all the time, every day I'm around him continually. Because if you don't do it, he'll just start doing it, and then you're too lazy to deal with it, so you just open the door and let him run out and look and bark and look and get all hyper and crazy, running back and forth like there's somebody out there, and you look and you walk out there and you say, stay here, look, there's nobody out there. They're already passed and gone if they were even there to begin with, because they can smell them a mile away. So I mean, this is what's happening, and it drive you crazy. You'd be sitting there cruising, say you're watching the sports, say you're watching a ball game, and all of a sudden he's there, all of a sudden he comes up to you and he's going, he starts barking, jumping up and down like, let me out, there's something out there. The territorial barking. Gotta go back to work. It's time for me to go back to the next patient. Have a great night. Thanks for taking the short time, Mimi. We're here for you all the time, and you're here for us, and we love that. Take care of those people. Thank you so much for your work and humanitarian attitude about life, because obviously that's what's going on with you, and it's just wonderful. Keeps us certainly grounded in the right way. Cheers. So, first thing, I'm not going to be able to cover all this in one chat session here. Sorry, I didn't have much services. I don't have much services. You mean in terms of a veterinarian, you mean? You don't have much services? Is that what you meant? Sorry, I don't have much services. Jerica says. Not sure what that means, but if you could explain it, would be great. Anybody could join into and try to help Jerica with her question about how do you heal a boo-boo on a dog. And, I have to know what kind of boo-boo it is. I think that's what we're referring to. But I gave her some suggestions. Y'all, you can check it out. Let's see. Let me get up to the WooF Driver's site here so I can type in here live. Yeah, this is what I use. DMSO. Dimethyl sulfate, something or another. Just check it out. Look it up. I've been taking care of the elder with dementia for 27 years now, and you love it. That's great. They sure need people like you, Mimi, doing this. I was trying to imagine what it'd be like to have an issue like that to deal with, where you just can help people that can't remember things. But that's the product I use for healing cuts and boo-boos and certain things that are funky on your skin. I don't recommend anything. I'm just telling you what I use. So you have to first, before you can do anything about this barking thing, for example, we're just taking things about barking behavior where it's territorial barking. There's process. So part one, how to stop your from barking at strangers is one. How to recognize the causes of the territorial barking. And often dogs that bark at strangers are there just simply demonstrating territorial barking. This is my place and I'm guarding, which is not, it's instinctively a great thing. I mean, I don't have to worry about someone coming around me here, and, you know, especially if you're not here. I mean, he's taking care of, they're not going to, they hear that bark, I doubt if they're going to come snooping around any closer than they already are. So it's great protection. I don't mind that part. Part is when it comes out of nowhere in your home and you're trying to curb it. And it says the type of barking that is because they're fearful and see strangers as a threat, potential. They're wired to defend their territory, so they use their barks to detect unknown people in familiar places like their homes and their yards. So it's natural. They don't know. They're being protective. I mean, it's not overprotective because they don't know, because most of the strangers are not a threat, but they're still strangers nonetheless. So you start to understand why they're doing it. So you don't be yelling at them. You can figure out a different way to do this, okay? And then reward them. Well, anyway, here's the protocol. So, in fact, your dog is so motivated to protect a perceived threat that he may ignore your shouts to stop barking, and any scolding that you might give him, even though it's even if you use harsh punishment to stop from barking, he may try to take control of his territory by biting someone now. So you gotta be careful. They'll bark at strangers to alarm us, the owner, of a potential threat. Alarm barking is triggered by sights and sounds. That's what I'm saying. He may not see anything. He stands, he looks out the shutters. Okay, if I shut him, he wouldn't be able to see out there, but he's not seeing anything out there because it's just bushes in the yard. He just smells because his smeller is that good. And they've got 1,000 times the smell we do, and they can sense things. So it's the way it is. And they may even react to strangers even when they're not in their home or yards. The dog may bark when he sees strangers in the park or on a street or an unfamiliar place. Example of that, same thing. Take him in the back seat of the car. Put him in the car, he's standing up, you crack the window, he's strapped in with his harness and his seatbelt, and he sees somebody walking a dog on the street. I don't care if you're going 50, 60 miles an hour down the boulevard. He sees it, he goes ape. He starts pawing all over the window, he wants to jump out the window, he's barking as loud as he can, scares the crap out of you while you're driving, and he's scratching your door and your door panel and making a mess of your car. Not good. And you can yell at him all you want, he's not going to stop. You reach back and pull him down, he ain't going to stop until you're way past that incident where he saw it, smelled it, picked up on it. Sometimes I see that coming, I see somebody walking, and I try to distract him and talk to him until I speed by and get away from the sidewalk lane, move over so he doesn't pick up on it, so he doesn't do it. You can't stop him from doing it when he does it. So how do you work on that? Well, this is a tough one for old Papa WooF driver here and Buster Big Paws. And I'm just telling you, I'm sure other people have the thing. Number 2, you don't yell or shout at your dog for barking. Okay, you don't do that. Most canine experts agree that yelling, scolding, or even hitting your dog for barking can in fact make it worse. If your dog is barking out of fear or anxiety, punishing him will only add to stress. Instead, you need to train him to respond to strangers in an appropriate way and only bark when necessary. That's a tall order here, okay? We breed the dogs to bark. We bred them to bark. So now, don't get upset if he barks at sudden sounds like car doors slamming or loud noise in the street. However, dogs who bark at strangers require training to ensure they do not become too aggressive to others. Third thing is, here we go, avoid depending on a muzzle to stop the dog from barking. Some dog owners do consider using a muzzle to curtail their dog's barking. Often, anti-bark collars are a form of punishment. For your dog, it should be the last resort, not the first option. Anti-bark collars and muzzles are not effective as training your dog properly and can lead to other behavioral issues. So I don't use those gizmos. I'm learning how to do this as we speak. I mean, I've been working on it. So first of all, reduce their ability to see strangers. Well, keep your door shut, keep your blinds shut, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't quite do it for Buster because he can smell it. So that's fine and dandy, but that's not going to happen. The yards have tall fences, but still, you know, they're not totally covered. You can see through them. You can jump up and get them and look over it. It's the way it is. This is my yard. So now, next thing I'm going to try is this one here. Distract him from barking if he starts barking by shaking him a set of keys. I'm going to have those handy. And it should startle him enough to cause him to stop barking. Then then call him away from the door or a window and command him to sit. Now, I got that one down. He starts to run toward the door. I said, no, back up, stay here. But what I've trained him to do is to sit and wait with my hand up like this, and he'll wait. Then I'll go open the door and walk out and then call him okay to come run as quick as he can. And sometimes he'll run into the yard because there's somebody on the side, he thought, or he's just going to go to the fence and see there's no one there right now, etc. And then I'll walk out when he's out there, tell him to stay, and I'll look around. Have a great night. Tell Buster hi. Kim, I'll do that. Thank you. So I've been doing certain parts of this already, and it's kind of working a little bit to stay and wait till I go open the door. Same with the doorbell. It's working, but the barking is still happening. So after I've got him to sit back there and wait, shaking the keys, I'm supposed to give him a treat and tell him to stay. If he remains seated and quiet, give him the treat for the next several minutes until the stranger is gone. Well, the stranger could or not be there. That's what I'm saying with him. So it's a little harder case because he's smelling a stranger that you're already past or is coming or whatever. And it's not a stranger. It's the same people that for 10 years that he smells and knows. It could be the lady with her baby buggy with her new baby and no dog. Somebody's out there. And they're not even on the sidewalk. They're on the street. They're not even on the property. So this is what I got going on with Buster. One of the things I do, I go, oh, who's there? Who's there? Is Mama home? Who's there? And he'll look around and get all riled. So avoid encouraging to bark at people at the door by saying who's there. Well, it's not encouraging necessarily to bark. It's just like saying, hey, Mama's home. Go greet her. And he'll do his little, he may or may not bark or do his little, oh. So we don't want to do that. That's not a good thing I should have been doing. And then when you say that, you know, and then walking to the door, it'll cause them to be on alert. So
WooF dreams.
Now, I'm reading here that a quiet approach, quiet technique by holding your dog's muzzle gently. This technique will teach your dog that he is allowed to bark when someone comes to the door until you say quiet. He should bark no more than 3 or 4 times, and when you stop, when you calmly give him the command quiet. Practice that technique when a stranger comes to the door, for example, delivery. Let him bark 3 or 4 times and stand over him and say quiet. Go to the dog and gently hold his muzzle closed with your hand and then say quiet again. Release the muzzle and step back from him and then call him away from the door or the window like I have Eve from Long Beach. Hello there. Call him away from the door or window by saying his name. And here, command him to sit and roar him with a treat. That moves him back from the door. And if he remains seated and quiet, give him several more treats the next several minutes until the stranger is gone. Keep him there. If your dog starts barking once he sits down, repeat the sequence again and do not reward him until he sits and remains quiet. Okay, so that is how training your dog to respond to strangers should work. So I'm going to go over that again tomorrow. Then you try doing the quiet technique without holding his muzzle. If you feel uncomfortable holding the muzzle, you don't feel might scare him, try the quiet method without holding him. Allow him to bark 3 or 4 times and approach him and say quiet. Encourage his silence by feeding him a pea-sized treat, like cooked chicken, hot dog, or a piece of cheese. Repeat this sequence several times over a period of several days until your dog seems to understand that quiet means what it means. Your dog should stop barking once you say quiet. After several days of training, extend the time between giving the cue quiet and giving your dog the reward. Say quiet and wait 2 seconds before feeding and treat. Gradually increase the wait time to 5 seconds, then 10, then 20. Work up to 30 seconds of wait time before rewarding your pooch.
WooF Dreams.
Okay, that's the part when he's inside barking. Okay. Now, you can use treats to prevent him from barking outside during a walk, too. I don't have that real problem too much because I'm using a bike springer and he's moving fast, and there's, he usually doesn't bark at the dogs when we pass when they're walking, when he's on the bike springer with me, which tells me when he's with me, he's probably more secure knowing being actually with me on the leash, on the harness, rather than just being loose in the house when he sniffs something he wants to bark at. So this is a big deal, and I know a lot of people probably have this problem and don't know how to really do anything about it, or if you've read up on it like I have here and shared that with you, that there's the process, and that until you just keep doing it over and over and over until he understands, however long it takes him to understand, which if you do it consistently, I have found that it works. What doesn't work is when you are lazy and decide, nah, heck with it. He's barking, he wants to go to the door, he's doing the running around the house and going to go out the front and back, chasing around the smell, going ape shit, so to speak, excuse my French, and it's driving you crazy. The barks are so loud it hurts your ears, and you're shouting, stop barking, and you're still sitting down. No. And then walk to the door and open the door when he's there first and he goes out in front of you is exactly the opposite, because that's what you started to correct in your behavioral modification. And I'm guilty of it. Shame on me again. Even if you miss one time, you spent all that time getting to from point A to point B, and now you're at B and you get to C, and then you're going back to B and back to A because you're too lazy to get up and do it because it's just driving you crazy. So I want y'all to understand your own mind and your own energy and discipline on taking behavioral steps, behavioral training methods and techniques and steps to correct behavior that you are not happy with your pooch, and nor is anyone else. And not good habits, even though they're sweet as they can be, and you can get them to roll over and do everything they want to do. The certain things that are annoying you need, if you want to get it done, then do it. So this is, and then always praise him when he's doing the right thing. Now here's an instinctive thing. Last night, Halloween night, that blew us away, both of us. And my wife gave him the command because I wasn't even here. I'd gone to the gym, and the kids were starting to come to get the trick-or-treat candy. And he's great with kids. He loves kids. We have grandkids, and kids come over and all kinds of birthday parties for these young kids. And he knows he's not going to hurt any kids at all. So last night we had quite a few in the neighborhood come over. Doorbell ringing, 6, 7, 8, 3, 10, whatever the groups were, And somehow, Suzanne goes, Buster, be a good boy, leave it, stay. He sat back when I came home and saw what he was doing when the doorbell rang. He did not run to the door. He did not bark. And then I went to the door, and he stayed back where I usually tried to have him stay when I do this behavioral modification of not running out before me to see who's there. Open the door, there's a bunch of kids there. Now normally, even when the grandkids, he's all over them, licking them, jumping and loving them. Hey, they're here. But he knew somehow that this routine was okay. And these are strange kids. They're strangers. Yet he knows they're kids. And he was totally behaved, like on guard, but not rushing to him, not barking at him, not moving, sitting and behaving the command that he had been given to stay and leave it. So that instinct in Buster blew me away, because I thought he would have been like a pain in the butt, running to every kid, kissing every kid, getting in the way. You'd have to put him in the other room and shut the door so he wouldn't do that, and barking there when they did come. You could hear him barking because he wanted to come out and greet them, because he loves them all, not because it's going to hurt anybody. But that's the instinctive behavior of barking and protection is what we're talking about here. And there's all these scenarios. Then last night we see this natural scenario of him understanding that these kids are going to keep coming trick-or-treating for candy, and he's okay with it. He got it with one command from the wife. We're just looking at each other going, how does he know the difference? Well, that's because they're so smart. Look at the look. You tell me that's not a smart look? I'm smart. I'm a husky. Woof Driver, thank you for having us on. We're going to get ready and get prepared here for the ball game. Okay? Big night. Whether you're for the Cubs and the Indians, good luck. And hopefully it's a good game. They got their ace pitchers, the Indians have Kluber, so that's going to make it a lot harder if he's on like he was the first night for the Cubbies. It's all whether you can hit the ball or not. That's what it's all about. You can watch it go by and strike the ball and all that, but if you can't hit it and score, okay. So I'm going to be watching that with Buster. He cuddles up next to me. He kind of watches it. He's funny. Have a good night. Give my love to Buster, too. I will do that. Thank you, Deborah. And so we're talking about this stuff that's important. I hope you're enjoying what we're talking about and getting some information about and can relate to it. Now, I'm sure everybody doesn't have this problem, but a lot of people do. And even if it's a little bit and you don't like it and you're not in control of the commands, there's ways to do it. So we're going to review this again, okay? This is interesting stuff to me. If anybody thinks it's really boring and you don't want to check it out, I'll leave it alone, but I think it's an important thing for all of us. So until we see you tomorrow, which is a Thursday, and tomorrow's going to be interesting. I have the children tomorrow, too, to watch. And we'll probably do a remote show from their place. And until then, enjoy the evening, enjoy your pooch, keeps fresh water, love, kisses, fresh food, keep the sleepies out of their eyes, and we will see you on behalf of the Woof Driver on alldognetwork.com. Alldognetwork.com is always want to check that out. This is where you want to take a peek at stuff. I always write this down because this is in caps tonight, but I always put this one down because this is the one where everything we do resides after we go off the air. alldognetwork.com should pop right up there. You want to check it out. All our chats together, all our times together since June is there. Woof Driver's adventures, his nighttime mushing adventures lately. All that stuff is there on the Woof Driver Facebook Live, coming at you live. And this is Woof Ditty, and having fun with it tonight, talking about behavioral barking and how do you work with your pooch without yelling at him, getting all upset, and get him to do what you need him to do, be a good boy and good girl. We love y'all. Enjoy the game tonight if that's you're watching baseball, and we'll see you tomorrow.